This speech was written by our leader, the global co-creation authority Feras Naser. Can we be reflective? The value of philosophy. To change the world, we must first change ourselves. Society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, have you ever experienced an intellectual change in your society? Or did you feel that the ideas that your society was promoting 20 years ago is different than the ideas of your society today? Let me take you on a journey of intellectual transformation that has been sweeping across our society in the last 2 decades. As the great philosopher Aristotle once said, philosophy begins in wonder, and it's this sense of wonder that has allowed us to reflect on the changes we've seen in our society and think on a deeper level. It seems to be that many societies have been impacted with new ideas over the last 20 years. Think of how the internet has made knowledge and information available at your fingertips, the significant changes in the media landscape, how the European Union have expanded, China has grown, Indian CEOs in Silicon Valley, the rise of wealth inequality, the economical crisis, the rise of new cities such as Dubai and Doha, the Arab Spring, the levels of unemployment, the levels of debt, the spread of smartphones and English language. Over the period of my life, I have seen the rise of many schools of thought. On a social level, I have seen the rise of globalization, the rise of Islamophobia, then the rise of populism, the rise of capitalism, and the spread of democratic values. I started to realize the importance of philosophy, our ability to reflect on the changes that is happening in our society and think on a deeper level on our nature as humans and our relationships with ourselves, our thoughts, our identity, and our relationships with the communities around us, but how to reflect on the changes that are happening in our society. Have you ever taken a moment to reflect on the stories that shaped your childhood? The tales that you were told by your grandparents, the books that captured your imagination, and the events that have happened in your life. These are the stories that helped us create a sense of wonder and mystery in our minds, and they continue to inspire us even today. Have you ever reflected on our observation of the nature of man, God and Mother Earth? These days people imagine less because they have many media outlets at their fingertips. If they want to know how does something looks like, they will Google it. If they want to know more about a precise story about their inquiry, they might ask ChatGPT. This has fundamentally changed how we learn, our ability to analyze, reflect and imagine. I started to realize that observing humans' behavior through media is a new outlet for reflection and mentoring. Sometimes it could be through looking on the timeline of people on Facebook. Although these photos tend to reflect the best moments of people's lives, without invading people's privacy as much as indulging the act of reflection. As the great philosopher Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, and that's why it's important to keep an open mind and to continue learning and growing every day. We need to take inspiration from the stories that shaped us and continue to use our imagination to create new stories that will inspire future generations. But what is the value of reflection without creation? This is why we have created the co-creation culture. Reflection is a tool that helps us understand ourselves, our society, and the world around us. But reflection without action is simply an intellectual exercise. It is only by taking the lessons learned through reflection and turning them into action that we can bring about real change and progress. This is why we must not stop at reflection, but we must also engage in creation. We must take what we have learned and use it to build a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. We have developed the co-creation culture after a deep thought of the changes that has happened in our society to reflect the new values that we need to reinforce in our society. The co-creation culture is based on the 6 sacred values of co-creation, which are inclusion, innovation, unity, togetherness, trust, and philosophy. The 6 sides of the co-creation cube represent these values, which is the symbol of our movement. We have developed the value of inclusion because we have witnessed the levels of hate and discrimination that some humans are subjected to. We believe that every person deserves to be included and valued for who they are, regardless of their race or gender. The value of innovation is another important aspect of our culture. We feel that many societies are struggling to move forward because they are trapped in their old social norms, education methods, or production systems. By embracing innovation, we can break free from these limitations and create new and better ways of living. We have created value of trust because we have witnessed the collapse of trust on a global level as well on a small family level. The fourth value is togetherness. We felt this value is important because we started to recognize that some members of our society are struggling to belong and to find a community that they can call home. The fifth value is unity. It was developed because we have witnessed the divide in our community. And finally, the value of philosophy, to make sure that we continuously reflect on the changes that are happening in our society and to forge new ways in making humans' lives happier. Philosophy is the foundation of progress. Reflection is the catalyst for change. To our leader, Feras Naser, I'm Anderson from Brazil. I live in Sao Paulo. Many thanks for your hospitality. We see a good character in you. We see a hope in you for our youth and our nation. I support your leadership. We are with you.